"James, where are you coming from at this time of the night?" Jessica's voice echoed through the house, angry, tired, and trembling with frustration. Standing behind the door, her pregnant frame blocked the entrance. She refused to let him in. She was done. Done with the silence, the lies, and watching her marriage crumble. James ignored her question and tried to enter the house, but Jessica grabbed his shirt, demanding an answer. "Will you leave my way?" James barked, already worn out from his mistress's place. But she stood her ground. In anger, he poured the liquid in his hand, and in that instant, everything changed, never realizing that moment would destroy everything he loved. Before we dive into this thrilling story, tell us where you're watching from and what time it is. And don't forget to click that subscribe button for more eye-opening stories. Jessica Harris had been tired of her marriage for 8 months now. Her husband's sudden change after 2 years of their perfect marriage baffled her. She couldn't take it anymore. She had stayed quiet, hoping he would return to his senses and change, all to no avail. Tonight was different. Tonight she'd decided enough was enough. The transformation had been gradual. James used to come home at 6 every evening, kiss her forehead, and ask about her day. He used to hold her hand during dinner, laugh at her terrible jokes, and plan their future with excitement in his eyes. They talked about babies, about building a family empire together, about growing old in the mansion his tech company had bought them. Then, something shifted. Phone calls he'd take in other rooms, late nights at the office that stretched into early mornings. The way he'd pull away when she tried to touch him, as if her hands carried something contagious. Excuses that grew more elaborate and less believable each week. Jessica tried everything. She cooked his favorite meals that went cold on the table. She dressed up in outfits that used to make his eyes light up. Now barely earning a glance, she suggested counseling, date nights, weekend getaways. James had an excuse for everything. Too busy, too stressed, too tired, too much work. The pregnancy test had been positive 3 months ago. Jessica had been terrified to tell him, knowing things were already fragile between them. But some naive part of her thought maybe this would fix things. Maybe a baby would remind James of what they were building together, why they'd fallen in love in the first place. She'd been wrong. When she told him about the pregnancy, James had gone completely still. His face showed nothing, absolutely nothing, as if she'd just read him the weather forecast instead of announcing they were having a child. Then he'd stood up, mumbled something about needing air, and left. He didn't return until 2 in the morning, smelling like perfume that wasn't hers. That's when Jessica knew. Her husband was having an affair. She didn't confront him immediately. Part of her didn't want confirmation, didn't want to hear the words out loud and make them real. So she watched. She noticed. She gathered evidence like a detective building a case, each clue another crack in her heart. Credit card statements showed expensive dinners at restaurants they'd never visited together. Hotel charges appeared in the same city where they lived. Jewelry purchases never found their way into her box. Text messages he deleted before she could see them. Calls from unknown numbers that made him smile in ways he hadn't smiled at her in months. Jessica was 7 months pregnant now, her belly round and heavy with the daughter she carried alone despite being married. Her doctor asked if James was coming to appointments. Her friends asked how he was handling the pregnancy excitement. Her mother asked if everything was okay because Jessica's eyes looked sad even when she smiled. Everything was not okay. Tonight had been the final straw. James had promised to be home at 7 for dinner with her parents who were visiting. Jessica had cooked for hours, set the table beautifully, prepared his favorite dishes. Her parents arrived at 6:30. 7 came and went. 8, 9, 10. Jessica's father had tried to hide his anger. Her mother squeezed her hand and whispered that maybe there was an emergency at work. They ate dinner in uncomfortable silence, making excuses for a man who clearly didn't care enough to show up or even call. Her parents left at 11, her mother hugging her tight and whispering that she deserved better. Jessica nodded, tears finally falling after she closed the door behind them. She deserved better. Her daughter deserved better. The baby growing inside her deserved a father who showed up, who cared, who was present. At 1:15 in the morning, Jessica heard James's car pull into the driveway. She'd been sitting in the dark living room, waiting, her anger building with each passing minute. When she heard his key in the lock, she moved to the door and stood there, blocking his entrance. James looked surprised to see her, his expression guilty for just a flash before it hardened into irritation. He was still wearing his expensive suit, hair slightly messy, smelling like perfume and lies. "James, where are you coming from at this time of the night?" The words exploded out of her. 8 months of silence, patience, and hope finally shattering. James's jaw tightened. "Move, Jessica. I'm tired." "You're tired?" Jessica's voice rose. "You're tired? I cooked dinner for 4 hours. My parents drove 2 hours to see us. We waited until 10 o'clock for you, and you couldn't even send a text. You're tired?" "I had a work emergency," James said, the lie coming easily as if rehearsed. "Where's your briefcase then? Where's your laptop? You're wearing the same suit you left in this morning, but your shirt is different, so either you keep spare clothes at work or you're lying to my face." James's expression went cold. "You're being paranoid. Pregnancy hormones are making you crazy." That word, crazy. The same word he'd been using for months to dismiss her concerns, to make her doubt her own reality, to gaslight her into silence. "I'm not crazy," Jessica said, her voice shaking. "I'm not stupid either. I know you're cheating, James. I know you're with someone else. What I don't know is why you won't just admit it instead of making me feel insane for noticing." Something flickered across James's face. Guilt, maybe, or anger at being caught. "This is ridiculous. Move out of my way." He tried to push past her, but Jessica grabbed his shirt, her pregnant belly making her balance unsteady yet her grip firm. "No, you don't get to walk away this time. You don't get to ignore this conversation and pretend everything is fine in the morning. Answer me. Where were you?" "Let go of me, Jessica." His voice dropped to something dangerous. "Tell me the truth," Jessica cried, months of pain and betrayal pouring out. "Just tell me the truth. Am I not enough? Is the baby not enough? What did I do wrong?" "You want the truth?" James's face twisted with rage. "Fine. Yes, I'm seeing someone else. Yes, I've been with her tonight. And yes, she makes me happier than you ever could. Are you satisfied now?" The words hit Jessica like blows. She'd known, but hearing it made it real, shattering something inside her. "How long?" she whispered. "Does it matter?" "How long, James?" 10 months, he said casually, "since before you got pregnant." Jessica felt the world tilt. 10 months. Almost their entire 3rd year of marriage. "Get out," she whispered. "This is my house. Get out." Jessica screamed, shoving him. James grabbed her wrists, his grip rough. "You're hysterical. Calm down before you hurt the baby." "You don't get to pretend you care about this baby," she sobbed, trying to pull away. They struggled in the doorway, voices rising. Jessica's neighbor's lights came on. Someone was probably calling the police. But she didn't care anymore. James reached into his jacket pocket with his free hand, pulling out a small bottle Jessica had never seen before. In her struggle to get away, her elbow knocked against his arm. The bottle tipped, hot liquid splashed across them both. For 1 second, nothing happened. Jessica froze, confused. James's eyes went wide with shock. Then, chaos. She gasped, stumbling back as pain and panic surged together. The world blurred. Her cry filled the night. Neighbors shouted. A siren wailed somewhere in the distance. Everything changed in that instant, and nothing would ever be the same again. Jessica's neighbor burst through the open door, her phone pressed to her ear, her face draining of color when she saw Jessica on the floor. Mrs. Chen was a retired emergency room nurse who had seen terrible things in her 40 years of medical work, but the sight before her made her voice shake as she screamed coordinates into the phone. "I need an ambulance at 847 Riverside Drive. Pregnant woman in distress. Please hurry." James stood frozen like a statue, the empty bottle at his feet, his hands trembling, his face cycling through shock and horror and something that looked almost like regret, but not enough regret. Never enough. "What did you do?" Mrs. Chen dropped beside Jessica, her professional instinct taking over despite the chaos. "What was in that bottle?" James couldn't answer. His mouth opened, but no words came. He just stared at his wife, at what he'd done, at the life he'd just destroyed with one reckless moment. Jessica's voice came out weak, trembling, her body curling protectively around her pregnant belly. Mrs. Chen grabbed a throw blanket from the couch, dampened it quickly with water from the decorative fountain in the foyer, and pressed it gently against Jessica's shoulder. "Don't touch your face, honey. Just breathe. Help is coming. Focus on breathing." "My baby," Jessica gasped. "My baby. Please tell me my baby is okay." "Your baby's strong. You're strong. We're going to get through this," Mrs. Chen said, keeping her tone steady even as her hands shook. She had delivered babies in crisis zones, guided mothers through impossible moments, but this was different. This was her neighbor. This was deliberate harm. Sirens wailed in the distance, growing louder. James finally moved, stumbling toward the door as if to run. "You move one more step," Mrs. Chen warned sharply, "and every neighbor on this street will testify to what they heard tonight. Your wife begging for the truth, you admitting to cheating, and what came after. Don't you dare run." James froze. His expensive shoes crunched on broken glass. His perfectly tailored suit suddenly looked like a costume, a disguise for a man whose heart was rotten. Moments later, red and blue lights splashed across the walls as paramedics rushed in with equipment and urgent voices. A young woman with kind eyes knelt beside Jessica. "Ma'am, I'm Sarah. This is Marcus. We're going to take care of you, all right? Can you tell me your name?" "Jessica," she managed. "Jessica Harris, 7 months pregnant." "Please, my daughter." "We're checking on your daughter now," Marcus said gently, placing a monitor on her abdomen. The rhythmic thump-thump-thump of a heartbeat filled the air. Fast, but steady. Strong. "Baby's heart rate is perfect," he assured her. "She's fighting, just like her mama." Sarah examined Jessica carefully, keeping her voice calm. "We need to get you to the hospital. Right now." As they lifted Jessica onto the stretcher, her hands instinctively covered her belly. She felt her baby kick wildly inside, as though the little one could sense the chaos around them. "Who did this?" Marcus asked quietly, though his eyes had already found James standing uselessly near the door. Mrs. Chen pointed without hesitation. "Her husband. He came home late." She confronted him. They argued. Then this happened. Sarah's jaw tightened. "Sir, stay where you are. Police are already en route." James finally found his voice. "It was an accident. I didn't mean... She grabbed me, and it just spilled." "The bottle just spilled?" Mrs. Chen snapped. "On its own? Tell that to the police." 2 officers entered then, their faces hard, experienced, yet still capable of outrage. The older one, a woman with sharp eyes, moved toward James, while her younger partner began taking photographs. "James Harris?" the officer asked. "Yes, but listen, this isn't what it looks like. You have the right to remain silent," she said, already producing handcuffs, "and I strongly suggest you use it." James's voice rose in panic. "My wife is exaggerating. She attacked me first. I was defending myself." "Your pregnant wife attacked you?" The officer's tone dripped disbelief. "And you just happened to throw a harmful liquid at her? That's your story?" Mrs. Chen spoke up again, steady and furious. "I heard everything." She begged for the truth. He admitted to cheating. She told him to leave. Then he did that. There was nothing accidental about it. The officer cuffed him firmly. "James Harris, you're under arrest for aggravated assault and domestic violence. If your wife or unborn child is harmed, more charges will follow." "You can't do this!" James shouted as they led him away. "I'm the CEO of Harris Tech. I have lawyers." "Good," the officer said coldly. "Call them from jail." As they passed Jessica on the stretcher, James tried one last time. "Jessica, I'm sorry. I didn't mean." "Get him out of here," Sarah cut in. "Before I forget I'm at work." Outside, the ambulance doors closed. Marcus drove fast, sirens screaming through the quiet streets. Sarah stayed by Jessica's side, holding her hand. "Am I going to die?" Jessica whispered. "No," Sarah said firmly. "You and your baby are going to survive this. You're safe now." Jessica's eyes fluttered. "My face. It hurts." "What does it look like?" Sarah hesitated, choosing her words carefully. "You've been injured, but we're treating it. The best doctors are waiting for you at Memorial Hospital." Jessica nodded weakly, tears sliding down her cheeks. Her whole world had shattered in minutes. Her marriage was gone. her trust broken. The man who was supposed to protect her had tried to destroy her. "Why?" she whispered. "Why would he do this?" Sarah exchanged a grim look with Marcus. "Focus on breathing, Jessica. Let us take care of you. The police will find out everything." The ambulance screeched to a stop outside the hospital. Double doors swung open as they rushed Jessica inside. Doctors and nurses surrounded her, their movements efficient and calm. Among them was a tall man in scrubs with silver hair and gentle eyes. "I'm Dr. Michael Reeves," he said quickly but kindly. "I specialize in trauma recovery. We're going to take good care of you, Jessica. Can you rate your pain for me?" "Very high," she murmured. "All right, we'll handle that right away." He turned to his team. "Pain management, fetal monitoring, and emergency care. Let's move." As medication eased through her veins, the edges of pain dulled. She felt her daughter kick. 1, 2, 3, 4 quick thumps, strong and reassuring. "I'm here, baby girl," Jessica whispered. "Mama's here." Dr. Reeves offered a calm smile. "That's it. Stay with us. You're going to make it." Jessica tried to focus, her words slurring. He came home late. We fought. I tried to stop him. He had that bottle. I don't even know what it was." Dr. Reeves's expression darkened slightly, though his tone stayed even. "You're safe now, Jessica. The police will handle the rest." Another doctor, a woman with confident hands, entered the room. "I'm Dr. Patricia Walsh from obstetrics. Let's check on your little one." An ultrasound filled the screen, a tiny heartbeat flickering bright and steady. Dr. Walsh smiled. "Your daughter's strong and healthy. No distress at all. She's protected, safe in there." Jessica exhaled a shaky breath, tears of relief spilling. "Thank God. Thank God." Dr. Reeves nodded. "You and your baby are going to be fine. It will take time, but you'll heal. I promise." As they prepared her for further treatment, Jessica's thoughts drifted. Sirens, flashing lights, Mrs. Chen's voice, the betrayal in James's eyes. Her life had changed forever, but she was alive. And her baby was alive. That was all that mattered now. The surgery lasted through the night. Dr. Reeves worked with meticulous precision, his hands steady, his mind focused. Around him, the team moved like a well-rehearsed orchestra, everyone knowing their part, every motion purposeful. By dawn, Jessica's condition had stabilized. She was alive. Her baby was alive. Halfway through the procedure, something caught Dr. Reeves's attention, a small birthmark behind Jessica's left ear, shaped like a tiny three-pointed star. It stopped him for a second. He'd seen that mark before. 27 years ago, on his daughter, Emma. His little girl had been taken from a grocery store parking lot when she was 2. No witnesses, no clues. One moment, she'd been giggling in the cart. The next, she was gone. The police searched for years, but every lead went cold. His wife, Catherine, never recovered. The grief consumed her until her heart finally gave out 5 years later. Since then, drive. Reeves had devoted his life to saving others. Every surgery, a promise he couldn't keep to his own child. But now, staring at that familiar mark on Jessica's skin, something impossible stirred inside him. He tried to reason with himself. Thousands of people have birthmarks. Coincidences happen, yet the resemblance, the age, everything lined up too perfectly. Jessica was 29, exactly the age Emma would be. And according to her hospital file, she had no record of early childhood before the age of 3. The thought shook him. Still, he forced himself to finish the operation. There would be time for answers later. For now, his duty was to keep her alive. Hours later, Dr. Reeves sat in his quiet office, staring at the worn manila folder he'd kept for nearly 3 decades. Emma's missing person report. Age progression sketches. A smiling toddler with bright eyes and the same gentle expression Jessica had worn before sedation. His heart ached. He pulled out his phone and dialed a number he hadn't used in 15 years. Park. Raymond. It's Michael Reeves. Silence. Then a surprised breath. Michael? After all these years? Is everything okay? I think I may have found her, Michael said softly. Emma. What? The retired detective asked, disbelief thick in his voice. I operated on a woman tonight, Jessica Harris. She has the same birthmark, same age, same everything. No memory before age 3. Raised in foster care after being found wandering a parking lot. I need to know if Emma's file mentioned anything about that mark. Raymond's tone turned sharp and serious. Yes, 3-pointed star, left ear. It's in the report. Where is this woman? At Memorial Hospital. Don't move. I'm coming there right now. And Michael, don't tell anyone yet. If this is real, we handle it carefully. Doctor. Reeves hung up and leaned back in his chair, overwhelmed. After 27 years of searching, hoping, and grieving, could it truly be possible? 23 minutes later, Detective Raymond Park walked into his office. Time had added gray to his hair but not dulled his sharp eyes. He carried the old case file under his arm. Show me the patient, he said simply. Together they walked to the recovery ward. Jessica lay in bed, still sedated, her parents sitting close. Her mother held her hand, whispering prayers. Her father looked hollow with exhaustion. Dr. Reeves approached quietly. Mr. and Mrs. Thompson, this is Detective Raymond Park. He needs to ask a few questions about Jessica's background, if that's all right. Mr. Thompson straightened defensively. My daughter just went through a nightmare. Can't this wait? I understand, sir, Raymond said gently. But it's important. Where was Jessica born? Do you know anything about her early life? Mrs. Rulia, Thompson hesitated. Jessica was adopted when she was 3. Before that, she was in foster care for about a year. No records of her biological parents, no birth certificate. She was found wandering in a grocery store parking lot in Nevada. Couldn't tell anyone her name. They called her Jane Doe until we adopted her. Dr. Reeves felt the air leave his lungs. Raymond's eyes widened. A grocery store parking lot, Raymond repeated slowly. What city? Henderson. Just outside Las Vegas. Raymond pulled out an age progression photo from Emma's file and laid it next to Jessica's intake picture. The resemblance was undeniable. The same bone structure, same eyes, even the same gentle tilt of the smile. Mrs. Thompson gasped. Oh my God, that looks exactly like Jessica. Dr. Reeves swallowed hard. It's her. It has to be. Raymond placed a hand on his friend's shoulder. Let's confirm it properly. DNA test, today. Mr. Thompson looked torn between fear and disbelief. You think our Jessica is your daughter? I think it's more than possible, Dr. Reeves said softly. The birthmark, age, and location all match, but science will tell us for sure. Tears welled in Mrs. Thompson's eyes. We've had her for 26 years. We raised her. If she's your daughter, what does that make us? Dr. Reeves's voice broke. It makes you the people who gave her a life when I couldn't. You're her parents too. Nothing changes that. Samples were taken within the hour. Jessica's, Dr. Reeves's, and Mrs. Thompson's, to verify adoption records. Raymond made sure the lab processed them immediately. .. Jessica awoke 6 hours later, groggy but aware. Her parents rushed to her side. How do you feel? Dr. Reeves asked softly. Like I barely survived a storm, she whispered. My face, my baby. The surgery went well, he said reassuringly. You'll need more procedures, but you're stable. Your baby is healthy. Tears of relief filled her eyes. Thank God. There's something else, Mrs. Thompson said gently. Honey, we need to tell you something about your past. Jessica frowned. My past? Detective Park stepped forward. Jessica, 27 years ago, a 2-year-old girl named Emma Reeves was taken from a parking lot in Henderson. She was never found. Dr. Reeves here is her father. Jessica blinked. You think I'm her? We've done preliminary checks, Raymond said carefully. You match in every way that matters. We've already ordered DNA tests to confirm. Jessica turned to Dr. Reeves, searching his face. You think I'm your daughter? He nodded slowly, eyes full of emotion. You have a mark behind your left ear. Emma had the same one. And you were found exactly where she was taken. If it's true, I've been looking for you my whole life. Jessica's hand drifted to her belly. I might have a father. A real father. Dr. Reeves smiled through tears. You've always had one, sweetheart. I just couldn't find you. Her mother's eyes filled with tears, too. No matter what happens, you're our daughter, Jessica. Nothing will ever change that. Jessica nodded weakly, overwhelmed. I don't even know what to feel. Dr. Reeves pulled a chair close. We'll take it one step at a time. Rest now. We'll have answers soon. As the doctors checked her monitors and her parents whispered quiet prayers, Dr. Reeves stepped into the hallway with Raymond. If the test confirms it, Raymond said, you'll have your daughter back. Dr. Reeves nodded, his voice breaking. After all these years, I just want her to know she was never forgotten. The DNA results arrived at 2:47 p.m. the next day. Detective Raymond Park received the call first. He listened in silence, then looked at Dr. Reeves with eyes that said everything before words could. It's a match, he said quietly. 99.9% probability. Michael, she's your daughter. Emma is alive. Dr. Reeves sank into a chair, emotion flooding through him. 27 years of grief, hope, and unanswered prayers crashing all at once. His daughter was alive. The little girl he'd lost had grown into a woman who'd survived the unimaginable. We need to tell her, he whispered. She deserves to know. They gathered in Jessica's hospital room. Her parents sat on one side of the bed, holding hands tightly. Dr. Reeves stood beside Raymond, his heart pounding. Jessica rested against her pillows, her face still bandaged, her voice soft but steady. The results are back, Raymond said gently. Jessica, you are Emma Reeves. Dr. Reeves is your biological father. For a long moment, Jessica just stared, her eyes wide. You're really my father? She whispered. Dr. Reeves nodded, his voice breaking. Yes. You're my daughter. You've always been my daughter. I never stopped searching. Jessica's hand trembled as she reached for his. Why don't I remember anything before I was 3? Raymond explained, his voice calm. You were taken from a grocery store parking lot in Henderson, Nevada. The woman who took you was named Margaret Chin. She'd recently lost her own daughter and, in her illness, convinced herself she could replace her by taking you. She kept you hidden for about a year, moving constantly. Eventually, she abandoned you in that same parking lot, and that's where the foster system found you. Jessica's eyes filled with tears. So, she took me to replace her child? Yes, Raymond said softly. It doesn't excuse what she did, but it explains why you were never found. Mrs. Thompson was crying quietly beside her. So all this time, we never knew. Dr. Reeves took her hand. You gave her a home when I couldn't. You saved her. Jessica looked from one parent to the other, torn between gratitude and disbelief. You'll always be my parents, she said fiercely to the Thompsons. You raised me. You loved me. Nothing changes that. Her adoptive father nodded, eyes glistening. And now you found the man who brought you into this world. Maybe that's how it was meant to be. Jessica turned to Dr. Reeves. What about my mother, my biological mother? Dr. Reeves's expression softened. Her name was Catherine. She was gentle and full of light. Losing you broke her heart, and she passed away 5 years later. But she loved you deeply, every day of her life. Jessica began to cry quietly. She died because of me? No, Dr. Reeves said firmly. She died because of what was done to us, never because of you. I wish I could have known her. Jessica whispered. She's with you, he said, in your kindness, in your strength. They sat together for a while, letting the truth settle. Jessica reached up, touching the bandage on her cheek. After everything that's happened, I don't even know who I am anymore. You're Jessica, Dr. Reeves said softly. You're Emma, you're both. You're my daughter, and you're a survivor. Raymond's phone rang. He stepped out to answer it, returning moments later with a serious look. That was the prosecutor. James Harris tried to request bail again, claiming he needed to care for his wife. The judge reviewed the new evidence. Jessica tensed. What evidence? Raymond set a folder on the bedside table. Security footage from his mistress's building shows him leaving her apartment just before 1 in the morning, carrying a small bottle. Phone records confirm he texted her, "It's done," right after the incident. And there's proof of a life insurance policy, $2 million, taken out in your name 6 months ago. Jessica's heart pounded. He really planned this, all of it. Yes, Raymond confirmed. The mistress, Victoria Lang, is cooperating now. She says James told her everything. He promised they'd start a new life together once you were gone. She didn't realize what he meant until the night it happened. Jessica closed her eyes, tears slipping silently down her face. He didn't just betray me. He planned to end me. Raymond's tone hardened. And now he'll face justice. Attempted murder, insurance fraud, conspiracy. The evidence is solid. He's not leaving prison for a very long time. Before anyone could speak, the door opened. A woman in her 30s hurried in, out of breath. "I'm Agent Lisa Reeves," she said, flashing her ID. "Dr. Reeves is my uncle. I've been following the Chen kidnapping case for years as part of the FBI's cold case division. When I heard the DNA results, I pulled the files." She opened a folder filled with old photographs and documents. Margaret Chen didn't act alone. She had help. A man named David Harris. He financed her moves and helped her disappear. Jessica froze. "Harris? As in James Harris?" Lisa nodded grimly. David Harris was James's uncle. He died 8 years ago, but before that, he confessed everything in a private journal. He told James about the kidnapping, about you, and about your father's fortune. Jessica's stomach turned. He knew? James knew who I was? Lisa's voice was quiet but firm. Yes. He sought you out deliberately. His plan was to marry you, then use your connection to Dr. Reeves for money. When that didn't work fast enough, he took out the insurance policy. Dr. Reeves looked ill. He married my daughter to exploit her? Lisa nodded. When Jessica became pregnant, James realized his debts were closing in. He decided the only way out was to end her life and collect the payout. Jessica gripped the blanket tightly, her breathing uneven. My entire marriage was built on lies. Agent Reeves placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. It's over now. We have enough evidence to keep him behind bars for decades. Jessica's father spoke with quiet fury. He'll pay for everything he's done. Over the next weeks, Jessica underwent more treatments. Dr. Reeves oversaw every procedure, guiding her recovery with the care of both a surgeon and a father. Between surgeries, they spent hours talking about the past, about her childhood, about the life they'd lost and found again. The Thompsons never felt replaced. They were her parents in every way that mattered, and Dr. Reeves became part of their family too. James's trial was swift and merciless. The courtroom fell silent as evidence played out. Footage, text messages, financial statements, and testimony from Victoria Lang. Jessica testified remotely, her voice calm but strong. The jury needed only 3 hours. Guilty on all counts. The judge's voice carried finality. James Harris, you exploited love for greed and attempted to destroy 2 lives. You will spend 50 years behind bars, without parole. As guards led him away, James tried to look back at Jessica, but she didn't flinch. There was nothing left to say. 3 months later, Jessica gave birth to a healthy baby girl. She named her Catherine Emma, honoring both mothers who had loved her in different ways. Dr. Reeves cried when he held his granddaughter for the first time. Jessica's recovery continued. It was long and hard, but she faced each day with quiet courage. Her scars faded into symbols of survival. She began speaking at awareness events, helping others find the strength to leave dangerous relationships before it was too late. 2 years later, on a bright October afternoon, Jessica walked down the aisle again, this time beside Marcus, the man who had once saved her life in that ambulance. Her father, Dr. Reeves, walked her to the altar. The Thompsons watched proudly from the front row. Her daughter scattered petals ahead of her, laughing. Jessica stood there, radiant. Proof that pain doesn't define us, but what we do after it does. The past had tried to break her. Instead, it revealed her strength, her truth, and her family. She was free. She was loved. She was home. Sometimes, life will test you in ways you can't imagine. But remember, no betrayal, No heartbreak and no storm can destroy what God has destined to rise again. And if you believe, justice always finds its way. Click that subscribe button right now, because more stories like this one are coming. Stories that will make you cry, make you think, and make you believe in strength, redemption, and second chances.